The most common thing I see is women perimenopausal age 35 and up who are in this estrogen dominance pattern, and they are being treated in a certain way through conventional gynecology. And this all occurred to me because I went through it myself. Like I was, sleep deprived, living on donuts and Mountain Dew and giving to everyone else except myself. And I ended up having crazy heavy periods and bad mood swings and depression and weight gain and all the typical estrogen dominant signs, right? Breast tenderness, headaches, all these things. And I actually finally went and sought treatment. And the gynecologist to me said, oh, you just need an ablation or hysterectomy. And I was like, wait, what? Time out. I don't want major surgery. That's scary stuff. And remember, I was a surgeon. I did this all day long to people, and I never thought twice about it. But when it came to me, it really stopped me dead in my tracks. And I kind of stopped and evaluated and thought, why is this happening to me? And I was studying functional medicine at the time, trying to heal my Hashimoto's and my back issues. And I figured there has to be a reason, a root cause issue for this estrogen imbalance, which is another topic. Gynecologists aren't taught estrogen imbalance. Honestly, here's a major thing your audience needs to know. Gynecologists are actually surgeons. They're not hormone specialists. I learned probably as much as family practice or the pediatrician about hormones. I spent 4 years in residency cutting people and sewing them back together, removing their organs, delivering their babies, doing procedures in the office. I didn't study the endocrine system and all those intricacies. Like I knew the basics, and I knew how to prescribe synthetic hormones to override those systems. But literally that was the extent of it. So that was a tangent, but that's really important for women to know. So here I am, I'm in the throes of this hormone imbalance. I'm not healing any of my patients, right? I start to notice a pattern. My patients would come in with the heavier periods, with the hormone imbalances. And when the birth control pill didn't work, we would do the IUD. When the IUD didn't work, we would do the ablation, where we would burn the lining inside the uterus. When that didn't work, we would do the hysterectomy. And then a few years later, they would come back and say, oh, I just got diagnosed with breast cancer. And nobody was putting the pieces together that all we were doing is masking these symptoms of estrogen dominance and never really fixing the problem. So yeah, we got rid of their period problem. They weren't bleeding through their pants anymore and having accidents, but that estrogen dominance continued to feed that breast tissue and cause breast cancer. So estrogen's amazing. It's supposed to be in balance, right? And it's healthy. It keeps you young and vibrant, and you want it, but you need it to be at a balanced form. You need it to be metabolized appropriately. And your body is constantly giving you signals as to whether that's the case or not. And gynecologists are trained to get rid of those symptoms for you. We're very much trained to look for disease and band-aid it. So it's either a pill or it's a surgery. And unfortunately, not addressing these root causes are really doing women a disservice. The other piece of it is I see a lot of gallbladder disease. Women unfortunately get their organs removed much more than men in this country unnecessarily. And too much estrogen causes your gallbladder to slow down. And so then you start making gallstones. Next thing you know, you have your gallbladder removed. Little were they told, you need that bile to transport your hormones and remove them from the body. You need those to remove the toxins from your body. So then women, they got rid of that symptom of their right upper quadrant pain and their pain with eating, but they didn't actually fix the issue. So now they're going to go and have another issue. And so that is the pattern I see over and over in conventional gynecology. And we have to do something about it.
Absolutely. So how would a functional medicine gynecologist approach these kinds of issues differently?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, I wasn't trained to really evaluate hormones in depth. We're taught you can't really measure hormones because they change every day of the month. You don't know where your women are at in their cycle. So don't really worry about it. We're given reference ranges from the lab that are extreme. Your estrogen from 10 to 800 is okay. Above that, worry about a tumor. Below that, they're in menopause. Like literally, I'm telling you how I was trained.
Mm-hmm.
And so it turns out we actually do know how to measure hormones. We're just not taught in conventional medicine. The world of functional and integrative medicine has been studying this for 2 decades or more. And so we know how to test hormones. It's just that your conventional doctor does not. So I had to go through a whole bunch of training, almost like another residency, to become a hormone expert. Being a gynecologist did not make me a hormone expert. And so we can test, we can figure out where your deficiencies are, where your excess is. And here's the bigger piece, Ari. This is what I tell everybody. Like, your hormone imbalance is the result of something else. It's not the cause. So your sex hormones being imbalanced are because your adrenals are out of whack, or your thyroid isn't functioning well, or your gut is an issue, or your liver is sluggish, or your gallbladder is not helping you, or you're exposed to xenoestrogens. So always trying to chase hormones. I see this all the time with bioidentical hormone replacement. Let's balance those hormones. Let's balance those hormones. If you don't fix those other root cause issues, you'll be changing the dose every few months. You'll feel good for a minute, and then you'll be miserable again. And you never actually get balanced, because that's not the problem.